What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Real Man Talk Show. I'm Coach Hightower, where we talk about health and wellness, financial literacy, and we're all about building stronger family and better men. So today, man, it's going to be a hot topic. It's one of many series that I'm doing. This is one of the series I'm doing called Fathers Fighting for Custody. And my first guest that's going to be coming up has been fighting for quite some time to be a part of his child's life. And this is becoming a more of a common issue throughout America in regards to fathers taking a role and fighting just to be a part of their kid's life. There's so many men that I know personally that wants to be in their kid's life, but it's having that obstacle and that challenge, whether it's through the mother, whether it's through the system. And despite what the stats say, and you look at the stats, 70% of Black males are active in their kids' lives. So let's talk about that today. And I'm going to bring my first guest on. I want y'all to stay tuned. And we go get into the topic today, fathers fighting for custody. Let's go. Brother Rashad, what's up, man?
What's going on, Brother Hightower?
Man, nothing much. It's Friday, man. Thank God, man.
I know, right?
Yes, man. So tell me this, man. You're one of many fathers, man, that I know that's fighting to be a part of their child's life. When people ask me about good Black men, I tell them I know more good Black fathers than I know deadbeat dads. Tell me, man, what has been the challenge for you to being a part of your child's life?
Ooh, it's been a few challenges. One, the mother of my child is the number one challenge. And the second challenge is the law, and the way the laws work, because they were not designed to keep men in the lives of the children. They are designed to keep the children with the mothers. And some mothers, unfortunately, use leverage of the laws to keep kids away from the parents. And these are my primary challenges, just trying to figure out how to get to my daughter.
I see. So let me ask you this, man, and we'll dig back at that. Tell me, what was your childhood like?
My childhood, I grew up, different than a lot of other kids. I grew up fast. And when I say fast, I mean like I was cooking, in the second grade. Yeah. And imagine kids today cooking in the second grade, I mean, it wasn't nothing but grilled cheese sandwiches or ramen noodles, but Like I lived in a single parent household, where it was just my mother. And I never asked, what happened between them, but I was in a single parent home. My mother did have to get creative, in order to figure out how she was going to survive and take care of me while she was going to school and, working. So I used to, pretty much take care of myself.
I see. So you come from what's known as the latchkey kids, where you was pretty much given a key to allow yourself into the house until your parents got off from work, and you pretty much fed and took care of yourself.
Right.
Which is a term that we usually don't hear today. Let me ask you, how would your parents describe you?
I think that both of my parents are extremely proud of me. Now, I just met my father, my biological father. I never had a father until going on maybe 2 years now.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I had 3 brothers. 2 of them died in street wars. I got 1 brother left. But, my father, we stay in close communication with one another. He's very proud of me. We talk regularly. As a matter of fact, within these 2 years, I don't know how many times we've seen each other. He lived in Austin. He'd be here. He'd be down in Houston staying with me next Thursday for about almost 2 weeks. And my mom will be here as well.
Wow.
It's her birthday. So we bring in my mom and my pops here and we don't hang out. But they are extremely proud of me.
That's what's up. So let me ask you this. What are some of your earliest childhood memories that you can recall?
Man, my childhood memories, just being a kid, having fun, playing basketball, at the school gym with some of my friends and, just living life, being free, doing what I wanted to do.
Wow. I want to touch back on a couple things that you stated. I heard early in the conversation you stated you had 2 brothers that's no longer with us.
Never had a chance to meet them.
Wow. And were they older, younger?
Mm-hmm. They were older. Yeah.
Okay. And this is by your father?
My father.
Okay. And man, and this is so important, man, because like yourself, man, I didn't discover my biological father till 2014. And he was already gone. But I did get a chance to experience the rest of my family. I actually went to my very first family reunion in Oklahoma City about a couple weeks ago and was able to hear all these stories of my father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather. But it's very important, man, when it comes to just having those parents in your life. And it's also more important when it comes to having daughters having a relationship with their father. How has it been since you have reconnected with your father?
It's been good. It's great. Like we got a great relationship. Whatever happened in the past. I really don't care about that. It's like, all right, we right here, right now. Let's move forward. So, and we good.
What has been if you had to pick one thing now that you reunited with your father, what has been probably the number one thing that you have missed without having that father growing up?
Oh man, it's really a lot, because like I said, I was really pretty much taking care of myself, as a kid, like when I was growing up, being home alone and my mama, being creative to figure out how to take care of us, like ultimately what ended up happening in a single parent home is that I left my mom's house in middle school. So in the 7th grade, I left to the streets, and I was taking care of myself because me and my mom couldn't, at the time, get on the same page. We was butting heads and, I felt my best decision for me as an individual was to leave home. And if I had a father, maybe I would have had somewhere else to go to outside outside of the streets. And since I went to the streets thinking I knew more about life than what I actually knew about life, and I was really wet behind the ears and didn't really know how wet behind the ears I was, I ended up getting sucked into the criminal injustice system when I was 17, behind a false accusation with inadequate counsel and no support system. Like, when I was going through the system behind a false accusation, when I was 17, I thought I could handle it myself. I didn't want to reach out to my mama. We wasn't talking. I wasn't reaching out to nobody else. And then I thought, as long as you told the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God in court of law, everything would be all right. I had no idea it was not like that for Black men or people coming from certain zip codes or people without a particular or without certain resources or a particular support system. I thought as long as you told the truth, it'd be good. But it wasn't like that. So if I had a father, maybe, like when I thought it was my time to leave my mother's house instead of leaving to the streets, I could have went to my father.
And thank you for sharing that, man. And that resonated with me so much because I had a brother who's gone due to the streets. And I remember when he had got in trouble initially, I remember my mother telling him, just tell the truth. Just tell the truth. Not knowing, once again, how the system works, it don't operate, as you stated, for us. Don't matter if you're telling the truth or not. And that goes back to just the system that we live in, as you stated, the injustice system at certain levels. But it plays a major factor in regards to just your upbringing, as well as you stated, you could have avoided some of those obstacles if possibly both of your parents was involved, if you had that relationship. And I say that and ask you these questions for mirror reasons, because I talk to many people, I've experienced it, I've seen it. When kids don't have that relationship, definitely girls and ladies who don't have that relationship with their fathers, they tend to run into other situations. And this is why it's so important, man, that we be a part of our kids' lives. But we can't be a part of our kids' life when someone is using them as a pawn or when the system is not pretty much going in your favor. When was the last time you seen your daughter?
2,836 days. That's over 7 years. The last time I seen my daughter, she was 10 years old. I happened to bump into her at Walmart. I was so happy to bump into my daughter. And the mother, I seen, she was just looking at me like, and, like, I gave my daughter some money, a $10 bill. It was the biggest bill she ever had. And she looked at me and said, "For me? Thank you, Daddy." And it was like a blessing to my daughter, and it was a blessing to me to be able to give that to my daughter. And the mother was looking at me, telling me to take my money back.
So you telling me you ain't seen your daughter in, was it 7 years?
Over.
And your daughter, if I'm correct, you live here in Houston, Texas, right?
Mm-hmm. That's
and
right.
Your daughter lives in a city over that's probably about 20 minutes away from Houston, right?
No, she lives right here in Houston, Harris County, with me, right here in Houston, Harris County. And I haven't seen my daughter. I called my daughter. I bought my daughter a cell phone, dropped it off so I can communicate with my daughter, where I don't have to go through the mother. And the mother never gave the phone to my daughter. So I called the mother to talk to my daughter. The mother won't allow me to talk to my daughter. My daughter has social media. I send my daughter social media, Facebook, Instagram friend requests. What's the one that they be dancing? TikTok. Yeah, I send a TikTok friend request, and every time I send a friend request, the mother blocks me. I can't go over there. Like, I have no communication at all. I send my daughter letters, but the mother just won't allow me to see my daughter. Like me and the mother of my child, we don't have to talk, and as a kid, not as a kid, but years ago, before me and the mother of my child split up, and I wrote about it in my book. Okay. I wrote about this in 2014, and I said, I put the words of my baby mama in my book. She said, when we split, she said, I'm gonna take your daughter away from you, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's exactly what she told me. And I put it in that book in 2014. And here we are in 2022, and I have not seen my daughter.
And what makes it even so more challenging, and brother, your stories is one of many stories, man. A particular gentleman that, as in Virginia, based off the case study, he has actually went to jail a couple of times, only to try to be a part of his kid's life that they pretty much put him in contempt. Not only that, there's some other things that's going on in regards to other entities, I would say government entities that's involved, that's keeping them. And as you know, this can turn into a cash cow, man.
It is.
And it not only hurts the father, it hurts the child, but it becomes more emotionally and financially draining. And when you see the other entities that's involved, they're pretty much profiting off your demise.
You know, I done paid over $10,000 trying to get my daughter, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to say I done everything under the sun to try to figure out how to get my daughter. I done did it all, and yet nothing's working. Like me and the mother of my child, we were actually married, right?
Okay.
Now, in a divorce decree, I have from the courts where it allows me to see my daughter and be in my daughter's life. Yet, it's hard to get a courtroom to enforce the decree that took place back in 2014. And I don't understand, right? It's like, I already have a court order. You know, like I've had a court order since our divorce. And yet, the mother of my child still does what she want to do. I hadn't been able to actually pay somebody to get this in a courtroom until a couple years ago. I paid to get this in the courtroom, and since I paid to get this in the courtroom, my daughter has changed ages 3 different times. And it's like the courts don't even want to touch it. And I can just assume that if the roles were reversed and it was me as a Black man keeping a child away from a mother, it will be an Amber Alert on my car or warrant out for my arrest, because it would have been criminal for the simple fact that there's a court order placing the child in the mother's life, and I refuse to give that child to the mother. But since I am a Black man, it's like everybody hands off.
And why do you think that is?
It's a few different reasons. So when I got sucked into the criminal injustice system when I was 17 years old, I got sucked into the criminal injustice system for one of the worst charges that anybody can get sucked into the criminal justice system for. Yet again, the charge was all false, faulty, fabricated, and I shouldn't have been in the courtroom, yet I was. And ultimately, I thought, again, that it was nothing anyone can do to me, but I didn't understand that in the courtroom, it's not about the truth, it's about who presents the best story, who have the money to pay for adequate counsel. I thought as long as I told the truth, everything would go away. And it didn't work that way. So ultimately, I signed a plea deal in that courtroom as a 17-year-old boy without support of any kind. I signed a plea deal at the age of 17, a minor, to avoid 15 years in prison behind something I shouldn't have been in the courtroom for in the first place. And now people using this as a crutch to do what they want to do and continuously weaponize this charge that I shouldn't have as a tool to continuously punish me when I did the time for the charge I shouldn't have had, and yet they keep charging me for something I shouldn't have never had anyway. And now I got to pay for it by missing my daughter.
Oh, brother. And I'm very just heart torn just hearing this situation. And like I said, yours is one of many. But what you just emphasized, as you stated, there's a court order in place. Now, being a father, you and I, we, as you stated, we have to abide by the court order. If we don't abide by the court order, they're looking for any reason to have us suffer consequences, whether it's financially, whether it's jail time, whether it's a lien, whether it's on your credit. You go pay if you don't abide by that court order. Why do you think it's completely different when it comes to the other party? We all both are part of the same system.
Because it's levels to life. And when I look at life in general, you know, you got white privilege, you got woman privilege, you got LGBTQ privilege, you got Asian privilege, you got Latino privilege, but it's hard to find male Black men privilege. We don't even support one another, you know, so we like at the bottom of the totem pole, sitting down here at the bottom of everything, trying to figure everything out by ourselves.
Sure.
So when it comes to, you know, the way things work, the way laws work, the way, you know, we navigate through the financial systems or the educational systems, we still in the land alone. And that's why it's operating like this.
And let's talk a little bit about you, brother, because I don't think, you know, you get enough accolades. As you stated earlier, your parents, pretty sure your parents are proud of you. And I want to tell you, man, told you several times, I'm very proud of you. Based off, as you stated, at an early age, man, you was already fighting against the criminal justice system, and you try to take it upon it alone by yourself, which most young men would do. And you realize it probably was a good choice, but that was your options at the time. You didn't have a lot of options, so you went with what you thought was the best option. Let's talk about what all you have done since then, man, because you don't really go in detail to all the things that you have accomplished, man. And there's so many things that I know you have done, but tell the people about the organization that you have created, the people that you have helped, the accolades in school. Let's talk about that just in case your daughter watches, she can see what's going on with her father.
Well, thanks, Brother Hightower, too.
You're very welcome.
In the last 4 years, now I didn't go to school this year, so the 3 years prior to this year, I graduated twice with political science degrees. On my way back next year, we started an organization called Pure Justice,
yes,
where we work around 3 different pillars. It's economic justice, racial justice, and criminal injustice reform. Some of the campaigns we're working is bail reform, fair housing, police accountability, community safety, and we continuously work around access to democracy. Our organization is policy oriented, not wraparound, and we push for policies in certain areas because if you get certain things written, then it will go a long way for people that's in more so in need. So, yeah.
Good job. So let's also talk about, you know, you brushing over a lot of other stuff, and let's also talk about how many people you and your organization was responsible for getting out of the Harris County system 2 years ago when they was doing, or still is, I think, doing the cash bonds where people was pretty much being incarcerated for bonds. And I'm a true witness because I helped you with that. People was being incarcerated for less than $50 and was pretty much in there for months at a time.
Yeah.
We talk about how many people you help with that.
Yeah, so that's part of our bail reform. Now we partner with another organization called Restoring Justice. It's a great organization. I love to work with them. But throughout the years, so here's the deal with bail. And we are also been pushing for policy for years now in the bail area. I don't know exactly how many people we bonded out, but ultimately the work that we do in the bail area is to work for, again, those that may be less fortunate. Now, the ideal is that nobody should be stuck in jail or released. Nobody should be stuck in jail for or from the resources they don't have. And nobody should be released because they are wealthy enough to pay to be released from jail.
Right.
No matter what, your financial status do not make safe environments. Being poor don't make you a danger and a threat to society. It's either you are an actual danger and a threat, or you are not. You have too many people sitting behind bars, behind low-level, nonviolent misdemeanor offenses because they can't afford to get out. You have too many people sitting behind bars, behind nonviolent felonies. You have too many people sitting behind bars because of an accusation. You have too many people sitting behind bars because of somebody else's personal biases, prejudices, and racism, because they just want to over-police people in particular zip codes that don't have nothing and know that they don't have the money to pay to get out of your harassment.
Right.
I don't know how many people we bonded out altogether. I can go pull that number, but I know we don't have time right now.
Just give us an estimate. How many people you think it was? An estimate.
From then until now, over 100.
Okay. And I want to thank you, man. That's so impactful. And I don't think many understand the significance that goes behind that. For example, when I was going through the paperwork, man, I was very tickled because some of them was what I would consider petty crimes. And now these people are locked up for petty crimes. They now have lost their employment. They have lost their housing, lost relationships. And when they get out, they pretty much don't have anything. And when you don't have anything, you're forced in survival mode, which pretty much you go do what it takes to survive. And it may also cause you to go back there. And this is based off petty stuff. However, living here in Harris County is another political issue. We have felons who's going in, people who's murdering, attempted murder, and assaulting people that's going in and coming right back out. How do you feel about our justice system, man? And to the fathers out there that's watching, man, forget the justice system. Let's just talk to the fathers out there. How have you been able to maintain strong without breaking, man, considering you haven't seen your daughter in over 7 years and she lives right here in the same city? And you have a court order that's not being enforced.
Yeah. And, I normally don't really talk about particular issues that bother me as an individual. I don't even organize people around things that impact me in ways that could be hurtful or harmful to me. Like I work for a community. I organize around community need. I organize around community issues. I did speak out about what I'm experiencing with my daughter. Like I didn't ask anyone to do anything for me, but I have been counting down the days on social media from the gap from where I've actually been able to sit down and just talk to my daughter and hang out with her or take her out or go buy her something, until today, because it's unbelievable what I'm going through. Like I'm sane and I'm okay because I understand that my problems, a lot of people suffer from. Like what my experience is, a lot of people go through the same thing that I go through. So as an advocate, as somebody that work for the people, when I am going through whatever I'm going through, I'm not going to let my issues sit me in somebody's corner and cry. I'm going to continuously get out here in the streets and figure out how do I fix something for the world. If we can continuously fix, then in the future, maybe men don't have to go through things that I'm going through right now.
And thank you so much, man, for taking that charge, because that's a hard charge and it's a challenging charge. But I have the utmost respect and confidence that you're going to be to make some change, and it's going to be to benefit other fathers that's in this situation. Now, what I want you to do right now, brother, if you would look into that camera, man, and just imagine your daughter on that other side of that screen. What is it that you would want to tell her if she's watching this interview and this podcast right
now? I just want to tell my daughter, Mayana Rowan Evans, that your father loves you. Your father never left you. Your father will always be here for you. And if you ever need anything, please come find me. My cell phone number is 713-231-6131. Look me up, Google my name, but find me because I have a lot to offer you and I want to see you.
Say that number one more time, bro.
713-231-6131.
You said her name is Mayana?
Mayana Rowan Evans. 14 now.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, let's put this up there. Mayana, if you're watching, this is your father's number. This is your father's number. And this is so hurtful, man, because in so many ways, as you know, Rashawn, as being a man and being a father, most men, our existence is through our families. That's what pushes us and moves us, most of us. And to have a biological kid, that's your only kid, right?
My only daughter.
Only daughter. Now, to those that's watching and listening, if you heard early in the show, Rashawn talked about his life. He also talked about how he ended up running into some mishaps. By him running into those mishaps, man, it causes other issues. And this is what we're trying to prevent. Because when you end up separating a household, man, we become prey to the world. And right now, everyone is preying on certain demographics and certain socioeconomic class. But it's so important that fathers are involved in their kids' life. And it's also important that girls have their relationship with their father. And brother, I'm praying. And I'm doing more than praying because I got a lot of confidence that it's going to work out. I just hate that it's taken this long for it to work out. Is there anything that we or the people can do to possibly help you with this situation? I know this is a legal situation. Was there anything that they possibly can do, or any support, any letters they can write, anything they can do to show up for your support?
So for me, and not to be, yes, it is. Now I'm not the person that go around asking for, certain things, but and I'm not. Don't ask anybody particularly, but if you, because I do have a lot of resources around. There's a lot of people around me with resources. There's a lot of people, that know people that can make certain things happen. And if you can nudge something, move something, push something to the forefront, I just want to get my case through the courts because I'm not understanding why we still in civil court. I'm not understanding, when do this become criminal? When does this move from civil to criminal? Because this is criminal. And I need somebody to do something. I don't have the resources, obviously, to move this needle. But if you know me and you have the resources, you don't even have to tell me. Just move the needle for me.
Thank you. And I want to second that. If there's any attorneys or any judges that may can just throw some words of wisdom, and I'm surprised it's in civil court as well. Ain't this is it
criminal? This is criminal.
Okay, interesting. But that just helped his father, man. Not so much helped his father. That's actually helped this young girl. And I've seen this play out so many times, man. Your story. These young girls turn into women. And these women later on have emotional and mental issues based off not having a relationship with their father. They start seeking other things, other people, looking for comfort and love in other places. And usually it stems from not even having that access to their father. And it hurts so bad because your daughter is right here and you have a court order. And the court order is not even being enforced.
Right. Not like she in another state. It's not like she in another city. We right here in Harris County together.
And once again, when I say your story is just like multiple other stories, I hear this all the time, to the point that I know a couple of men that just, they're to the point that they're so depressed, man, that things have changed in their life. They spent so much money that now they're somewhat broke. Uh, and people say, and I hear this quite often, you need to fight harder.
Right.
I see so many men fighting, but there's only so much of a fight that you can put up when you're still getting blocked and you're getting thrown, and you got a court order that's not even being enforced. How long the court order been in place, brother?
2014.
So you have a court order that's been in place for 8 years and it's not being enforced.
Right. And not to mention the over $10,000 I spent on a lawyer, like I mentioned in the beginning, but yet I thankfully pay child support as well. So I'm paying child support. I set it up on Easy Pay. They faithfully get money every single week, and I'm paying these lawyer fees and still don't got my daughter.
But I want to thank you for coming on the Real Man Talk, sharing your stories. Is there any last words you would like to say before we get out of here, brother?
I just want justice.
Thank you, brother. And as you heard, Brother Rashawn, as he stated, he just wants justice. He just wants justice, just like many other fathers. If you're a father out there and you're fighting to be a part of your child's life and you would like to tell your story, reach out to me at the Real Man Talk. And let's talk. And I would love to bring you on here because this is a issue that's going on very rapid across the nation. And it's very terrible. It has major impacts and lasting impacts forever up into adulthood. And you're talking about these same adults are now becoming parents in the future. And when they become parents, they also sometimes may exhibit some unknown behavior just based off their upbringing. As you heard Brother Rashawn stated earlier, he just reunited with his dad. So many years that he have missed out on his dad for whatever reason. But in this time and case, we're talking about fathers who wants to be a part of their kid's life and fighting just to get visitation. Just to get visitation. Man, I hear this story so often. So often. I got another friend right now, man. And once again, as I stated, I know more men that's a part of their kid's life than I know deadbeats. I got another friend. This is friends, not besides people that I talk to and people that call me for coaching and all that. But these is personal friends. He might not be to see his kid for the next 6 months based off, the mother is using the child as a pawn. And he's pretty much emotionally and mentally braced himself because he don't know when he's going to see it. Now, that's not right because, once again, it takes two to make a child. So why do one person have more power over the other? Why? The father still got equal rights when it comes to financially taking care of that kid. And it's obligated, and if we don't do that, we're getting prosecuted. So I want to thank Brother Rashawn, man, for coming on the Real Man Talk. And once again, if there's any other fathers out there that would like to talk about their story, hit me up at the Real Man Talk. Brother Rashawn asked you, and I will tell you, I know him. He don't ask for too many things, man. But if you can help him, you can send some type of word of encouragement or probably just a strategy that he possibly can use to get this pushed through. The man is only asking for visitation. He ain't asking for full custody. He asking for the order that's been put in place by a judge just to be enforced, which don't make no sense because we have so many judges. So why come the judges are not enforcing orders? Is it safe to say that our judges are not doing their job? Is it safe to say that the public servants are not serving the community? This man is not asking for anything that's not granted to him. However, if he missed that goddamn child support payment, they would be coming for his ass and his credit. Bust to believe that. So this is one of many series I'll be doing. I want y'all to continue to tune into the Real Man Talk. We're doing 2 series. One series is Fathers Fighting for Custody. And on the flip side, the other one is What Does Marriage Mean to You? I will be interviewing various people in regards to marriage and how they look at things. Till then, man, I want y'all to enjoy your weekend, enjoy this Friday. Thank God that we're still here. And once again, remember, everyone has greatness. It's all about how you bring that greatness out of you. I'll see y'all. I'm out of here.